Evening, everybody. Welcome to the Block 9 podcast. I'm your host, Mike the Crazy Pilgrim, and tonight we have with us Andy, that side, Andy the Grumpy Loyal, Marcus, and Gavin as well. So, no real big intro from me this one. It's a little bit coming back down to earth, after the momentum that we were carrying over the recent games, but it was going to happen at some point. But for sure, that wasn't the result that we wanted. Yes, Adam Forshaw getting a goal, his first goal in 9 years against the Greens, against the club that he was with for about a year. I told you all Forshaw was a great player. You just didn't listen to me. Andy, what are your thoughts?
Oh, do you know what? I get why he's celebrated, and I understand now that his family were just above where Muslitz was sat and the Argyle bench was sat, and he went over to salute his family. And he hadn't scored in like 9 years. It's not typical. The time he could play against us, and then he goes to celebrate with his family. So Argyle fans are, got it incorrect that he's celebrating with, in front of Muslitz and giving him stick for that. But it's a good finish by him in the end, and you can't take it away from him. It was a good goal. We could have done a bit better defensively. Katie's in it. Katie's in the YouTube chat. Welcome, Katie. I expect you're a happy girl, aren't you?
Yeah. So Katie, the Rovers fan who did come into our TikTok lives. We are streaming live again on TikTok. So those that listening, I'm trying to look at my channel as well with the Block 9 podcast account. So bear with me on the comments, but good to see a few have joined that already. So yeah, Marcus, it was disappointing, but I think there's an element of tired legs maybe with the games that we've played and all that lot recently. We're still not got a really deep squad, have we, of regular first teamers?
For a start, I've never had the Randall JB partnership in the middle. It's never worked.
Yeah.
I've always preferred Houghton or even Boateng instead of JB's come on a sub. Every time they play together in the midfield, they're poor.
Yeah.
So, but Bainu doesn't have the legs, runs around, jogs around. But in Miron's system, you've got to be aggressive and run, and he doesn't do that. All it takes is one player to not pull their weight. The system doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, sort of Gavin, I mean, we've been doing a lot of work around the house, and so I used the time while the game's on. I did have it streaming on VPN while I was sort of rearranging my hi-fi, and so I wasn't focused fully on the game. But did that disrupt things, or did you just think Rovers got the better of a bit of a tired Argyle, and obviously Hardy going off?
A couple of things. One, slightly disagree about JB. Against Liverpool, I thought he was immense. I thought the midfielders matched their midfield pound for pound, and I thought we did a really good job. Did he play well yesterday? No. Did the whole midfield play well yesterday? No. I think we said in our group chat, the speed of which they move the ball through the third is probably the quickest I've seen anyone play against us all season. It was immense.
Yeah,
it was frightening. It was quicker than Liverpool, much quicker than Liverpool, much quicker than Brentford. I thought their movements through the third was fantastic. We were leggy, especially in midfield. I think Randall was probably blowing out his backside, to put it politely.
Yeah,
he's had, I don't know how many minutes. I know he come off early on Wednesday night when the game was done with 20 minutes to go or whatever, 25 minutes to go. But the amount of work that him, Sorinola, and others have put in those legs over the last, if you include Pusac as well, I know he had a game off, but that Pusac come to the club and played 7 games in 2.5, 3 weeks. You're right at the beginning. There's a lot of players being put through a lot of time and minutes and effort, and we all know that the guys are running at least a kilometre more a game under Muslitz than they were under Rini. So not only playing longer, but they're also running more. So, and the training's been more intense. And I know they're fitter and all that good stuff. But we were beaten by a better side, 100%. Right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think Andy, it was sort of, for me, we started up the possession under Music. The possession is always going to be in favour of the opposition because that's the way it is. But I do think that Hardy going off with that, it looked like he got a knock in his back from a challenge where he was defending in the box by the byline. But yeah, I mean, Andy, that's going to be a sort of concerning situation as he sees a specialist, but it did unbalance the team, and typically it always will when that happens in the first half.
Yeah, it's a real pity he had to go off, really, because when we bought the replacement on, it just didn't cut the mustard, I mean, Hardy was hopefully going to get in behind the sort of last man and stuff and put the ball in the net like we know he can do. Shame about his back. It's just one of those things, isn't it? We're very lightweight up front, and we I think we discussed in our WhatsApp, what do we do next? Do we bring in Tegan Finn? Do we persevere with Tijani, who's only about 25-30% fit? What do we do? We're running short on strikers. Bundu's the only sort of target man you've got there. But if he gets injured, then we're up crap creek, aren't we?
Yeah, well, Beidou coming on didn't really set the world on fire again. And interestingly, and it's not to nitpick on him, but Argyle's record signing, even the commentator, was saying on Argyle TV, forget his name, do apologise, but, that he looked leggy and lethargic. And that was at the end of the first half. And you're thinking, that's a bit of a concern.
I just think the pace of our games is far much quicker than what he's used to. He's got to step up and contribute to the side, because he didn't do anything when he came on. You can't blame him. Tijani didn't do anything when he came on either. So there's two people there who have contributed very little to the rest of the game. And this is why Blackburn have gone ahead and won the game. So.
It's sod's law, though, Andy, isn't it? Because if you don't, we haven't got a reserve team. We haven't got a 23 game. So the only way they're going to get match fit, is by playing matches. Yeah. So if you don't put them in for longer periods, they're never going to get match sharp. If they don't, if they're off the pitch when they come on, they're not match sharp. So it's kind of a catch-22, really.
You've got to persevere. You've got to try something with Tegan Finn, maybe a youngster. I know he's a youngster, but you've got to try him. What option have you got? Do we sort of persevere with Bundu up front? I don't know that he's a key target man. I think he's not in that sort of realm of Hardy, where Hardy will sort of break past the defence and score.
So Andy, I've got a point on Bundu, and I've put it in the in our WhatsApp before, and I know a lot of people are he's definitely doing better in that position, but there's just something about him, unless Music is telling him to play that way, where he just doesn't seem to just go in hard on the challenges like the others are doing. Like Hardy will do, like Wright would do. Randall and Houghton, or Randall or JB, will press really heavy, but he just seems to be. He just sort of gives up, going, I can't be bothered. I don't mean that to come across wrong, but that's how I'm seeing it. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah,
he's the tip of the spear, right? I know we tried to have this conversation mid-game on WhatsApp, but he's the tip of the spear. So if you look, I think a lot of the times you're referencing, it's when we're saying to their back three, have the ball. And he'll slip slightly deeper, just over our side of the halfway line, and he'll kind of go back and forth, a bit like watching rugby sevens, where they're trying to out-jockey each other when they're whizzing the ball around before someone makes the big charge. If he presses like he did for Hardy's goal, second goal last week, he pressed, Randall pressed. They made a mess up of the back pass Hardy was in. I just think Muslic is saying to them, don't be kamikaze. You're the leader of the spear. When you go, but you go with a mate, and therefore he looks like he's jockeying off. But I genuinely, mate, don't think he is. I think he's been told to do that.
When Hardy went off,
it's often, and I think if it was his laziness, I think Muslic would have put a rocket up his backside in between games and said, "No, you've got to push higher." But he does it every single game, home and away. So that's my version of it. I might be.
I think when Hardy went off, he looked lost, because against Millwall, I thought the pair of them together looked really good and really sharp. And Bundu was being that target man, being that sort of person who's going to draw people towards him and giving Hardy space. So as soon as he went off, he looked lost, didn't he?
The challenge, I think, now, if you look at Bundu at his best, Millwall as an example, because it was only a few days ago, the little flicks around the corner, the hold up, the go. When you've got someone like Hardy, who is beltingly quick over 15, 20 yards, that's an easy win. But Beidou didn't look like he had the pace, or they haven't got the connection, or whatever it was, to do those little flicks around the corner, blah, blah, blah. Whereas I think when Hardy plays, they know each other well enough. They've played for each other since Bundu joined the club, which was 2 Januaries ago, wasn't it? Not as January's gone, January before. So about 18 months. And they have that connection. Whereas I think Beidou doesn't. He's not naturally going forward. He's an 8 or a 10 for me. He's not a push on beyond where, let's face it, Hardy's, and I think Muslit said it in the post-match interview, finally my Argo TV's fixed for those who are interested in the group. He's one of the best channel runners in the division. And he's right. Everybody's right. He's one of the best channel runners in the division. That's the way I see it anyway.
Yeah, Marcus, what's your thoughts on either Bundu or Beidou, that we were just discussing?
I think Bundu's been playing all right, apart from obviously yesterday. But Beidou at the minute looks out of his depth. I'm just hoping that a proper pre-season they can get him up to scratch. But at the minute, he doesn't look like he's a championship player, so that needs to be addressed. But Bundu, like what Gavin says, Bundu looks totally different when Hardy's there.
Yeah,
but. Without Hardy, he looks lost.
Yeah, I think it's a frustrating one. That's why I sort of said, so even though I wasn't fully focused, sat in front of the screen here watching the game minute by minute, just Hardy going off, and you're just like with that run, with the goals that he scored, even if 2 were penalties, it still gives him a massive lift, and it lifts everybody around, because he is going to run everybody down, on that back line, and try and disrupt a few things, and we've seen where that's when we do that. And that high press, it does create mistakes. So yeah, just I don't know. It's a difficult one because you wonder whether or not there's pressure there to play him. But when a commentator makes that sort of comment, and you've come on in the first,
it was Ryan Brunt, wasn't it? Was it Ryan Brunt?
Possibly, yeah. To be fair, poor on my part, but you just think to yourself, oh, that's really not good. And we do know if we take both Tajani and Beidou, Beidou was one that Rooney wanted to bring in, as we know. We discussed the last pod, and Tajani was also another Rooney. It just may be that they're really not fitting with what Muslic wants, and when we have got a thin bench, trying to sort of say, oh, okay, I'll bring Beidou on, when you think, well, should we consider some other options? I think,
Mike, you say it's a thin bench, but I mean, I don't know whether Obafemi's injured. I don't know whether Obafemi had a spat with Meron. I don't know whether Obafemi is ill, but he hasn't featured in the last 2 games on the bench, which I thought he would have done.
Yeah.
If he's fit and raring and his mind is right, and that's the big caveat, right? The mind's got to be right with him, and he's like he was at Luton at home, and Pompey at home, where he's smashing people out the way and getting in people's faces. He's got to be a bigger threat than Beidou, surely, no?
Well, I think so. So there's been nothing. No one. I haven't seen the post-match presses. I think you guys have. But so there's nothing been mentioned. No one asked about Obafemi.
I asked Chris Harrington to ask on Twitter twice yesterday. But there's been no posting of a post-match press conference at the ground at Blackburn. So unless anyone else has seen it, I haven't seen it. It's not on Argo TV anyway. I don't know whether if Katie's listening. I don't know whether Rovers have posted anything, but yeah, he hasn't featured. Well, no one knows why. You'd have thought someone of his caliber could come on and change a game, would have been in the side, but who knows?
No, I'm just going to have a look. What I'll do is I'm just going to switch to screen share. If that one will come up. So I've just got the game stats on. I haven't got a slide deck today because I've been just too busy. But thank you everybody that's joined us so far. Get your comments in. Just looking on at least my TikTok, a couple of guys on there getting some comments in. But yeah, Leon Adam saying get Ben Wayne back. God, yeah, we're not desperate.
Why not? We're on the channels.
So
that's not even remotely funny, really, to be honest with you. Ben Wayne back.
No, absolutely not. Also, he said, won't Tajani play up front? But as we just said, that he just doesn't look like he's, I don't know, just doesn't look like he's.
The press conference from Miron said that he's not fit enough yet to play 35 minutes, which makes you think, wow, okay. But is that match sharpness? I don't know. It didn't feel like he was saying he was anywhere near ready to play 90 minutes or even 60.
Yeah, I'm just looking at. You can see it on the screen now. Just sort of seeing the post or sort of Muslich's thoughts. If I scroll down to get the quotes and make sure I don't miss them. We struggled in the first 10 to 15 minutes. Blackburn were on us from the whistle, wave after wave. But after the first 10 to 15 minutes, we found our structure back. We got back in the game and had some good transition moments. I think that's an interesting one, actually, Marcus, because we've always struggled when teams have done that to us straight away, and obviously in this new style, we tend to press those opposition teams, a lot as well. And this is our first away game for a few games now, isn't it, since the Sunderland? So, yeah, is that fair to say? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think before music, that would have been another 5-0.
Yeah.
That's how much we've improved in the defence. But going back on Obafemi, this is one match where would have been fired up for being a Burnley guy.
Yeah.
This is when you expect him to be playing at his best. I don't get that at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in here, but we'll aim to see what else have we got. We've also got we missed a little bit of composure to stay clean until the end. The second half was more or less the same. Blackburn opened up the game with a beautiful goal, and from there on, it was difficult for us to bounce back. I mean, speaking of that goal, and obviously it being Adam Forshaw. When I actually saw that happen, but when you sort of see it, it's a chancer, isn't it? With the way he had his back to goal and just giving it a bit of a dink, and Hazard of all keepers as well being massive and still got lobbed by that. So it's one of those where you think you don't expect it from him. Not as he hasn't scored in 9 years, but it's just one of those where if you take a chance like that, it might come off, and I think that's possibly, Gavin, where it sort of maybe frustrated the team a bit because it came out of nowhere, really, that.
We didn't do well enough to block the cross, in my opinion. If you watch it back, I watched the highlights again this morning. I think not that they were bad, but they weren't outstanding. So I think Katic and Maxi weren't outstanding. They were good. They probably had a 7 out of 10. I actually think the best defender on the pitch was Paulson. I thought he had another stunning game. He was by far our best leader, and he made so many interceptions. There was one in the first half where ball was whipped across right onto the oncoming forward, and he full stretch dive, flicked it over with his right leg in for a corner, which was outstanding. But we didn't deal with the cross well enough. I don't think it's a lazy swing of the leg in it from your doppelganger, and it lobs into the top corner, and Hazard's got no chance whatsoever. And then you go, that wasn't what we wanted. I might have taught my kids another couple of swear words. Oops. But we weren't there. We weren't at the races. We weren't pressing hard enough. But a lot of people said that Millwall would have been after Lord Mayor's show. I actually think it was yesterday. I don't know what the change was like before the game. And it was interesting to watch the Torquay United press conference, just going off on a tangent. Paul Watson said, I looked around the changing room, we were flat. And everything I tried to do to get us up for this game, nothing worked. We were crap and we won 2-1. Well, we were crap. We were flat, I think. We were nowhere near as tense as we have been the last few days.
No.
We weren't disastrous. It wasn't a Rooney 5-0, bury your head, here we go again. But we weren't at the races. Our midfield press was leggy. Our defence wasn't as snappy in terms of going out the press. Sorinola, I thought, didn't have a very good game again. Well, not again, but for the first time. In terms of at home, Wednesday night, he pressed everything. No crosses were coming in the box. Too many crosses were coming in. Husac needs to get up to speed. I think that 9 minutes did him the world of good, but he wasn't as snappy on blocking crosses either. And that's the result. We got beat by a much better side. We were brilliant at transitioning.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Andy, when a couple of the things I sort of pointed out at the start of our, shows in the last couple of games is how well organised we've been and structured. And, he sort of mentions it there, doesn't he? The plan was to be structured, to be organised, and then have some moments where we find the gaps. That is how his style has been recently. I think we had them, but we have to do better and be more calm in those moments. Don't forget, it's still Blackburn, a playoff team. They have all the quality to maintain the pressure and to keep attacking us. And like Gavin said and alluded to at the start, I do wonder if there's a bit of heavy legs in that yesterday.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, fair play to Blackburn, because we went to Sunderland a couple of weeks ago and got a good draw up there, a really good draw against a team who were in the top 5. So there's us going to Blackburn, to Ewood Park yesterday, thinking we've been playing so well, we can snatch something here. And then, one change in the game early on in the game has thrown the whole game, I think, because I think with Hardy on there, we're still in the game. We've still got a threat up front, but there was no threat up front when he went off. And we had to sort of...
But, Andy, I think also our press wasn't as intense with Beidou. So if you think that the way that Miron plays, the first line of defence is your 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
And Hardy's brilliant. He keeps that red side and he's at it. And Bundu's at it. And that force is right at it. They're all together. When you've got a bit like rugby, if one person bolts out the line and the others don't, you create a dog leg, they're through and they score.
Yeah,
there's a dog leg there because Beidou's not pressing more intense enough, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, and he was. I'll show the player stats screen in a second. I'll finish off the statement, but it's Beidou seems to foul players more than he does do actually anything productive.
Mike, it's because he's getting there late.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I get it. Yeah, but it's sort of it's not helpful then, is it? Because you're breaking up the play. Yeah, so we tried to go all in the last 15 minutes as we prepared another offensive play. Exactly in this moment we conceded. We then had a big chance for Michael Beidou from Adam Randall's early cross. If that goes in, then you never know for the last 5 or 6 minutes. So that was a big moment. I remember seeing that. But Blackburn deserved the win, and I thought they were really, really good, as we said. It was a little step back for us, but we will continue on this journey. I just said it's a blip in this great escape. No great escape comes with just ease, does it? There's always going to be hurdles along the way. So, and then finally, we have to go again in a couple of days' time. We have a big one in front of us, then a big, big week in front of us with 2 massive games. These games are what we want to compete in and collect our points. So, so there's the usual mob that I tend to pit in a slide. As you can see, sort of Hardy obviously didn't play that long. Bundu, below 7, score 6.7, right 7.2, which surprising. I mean, it wasn't his best game, but again, I felt tired legs. Sorinola, as Gavin said, not his best performance. Randall equally, JB equally, Pukac the same. To be fair, and in the back 3 showing there of Maxime, Katic, and Poulsen.
I think Poulsen's been hard done by, Mike.
Say again.
Poulsen's been hard done by.
Yeah, I think so.
I thought he had a 7 performance easy. I thought he was a standout defender on the pitch.
Yeah, well, that's how it came across, and seeing some of the comments afterwards. So but then I suppose when these stats, when you don't sort of have a great game and you lose 2-0, there's probably an element of wanting to lower the score threshold as a result of that. I mean, did Hazard pull off a 7.8? I mean, sort of how good was he during the game under pressure? I didn't see it, all of it. So any thoughts from Marcus, you?
I think with really the first goal, I think Hazard was surprised because you wouldn't expect that from Forshaw. So it was a second late. You wouldn't expect it. So I've never seen Forshaw play like that since he's been with us. But then again, he was more of an attacking midfielder for Blackburn, but he was a defensive midfielder for us. So maybe he's playing in his better position.
Yeah.
But anyway, we didn't deserve anything. We move on to Luton. That's all it is, really. They were the better team.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just Katie's point there. One thing for their side, Katie's a Rovers fan. If you can't see the icon or a name from that, but we have changed a lot since last season. We finished last season on 53 points, and with 13 games ago, we are on 51 points. That magic, which we'll come on to in a minute. I think if you're getting over 50 or even close to it, 47 to 50, you're probably safe. So don't probably need to show too much on the stats, but I will do anyway. Again, there's that possession, it's similar, it's sort of that sort of 70-30, in favour of the opposition, even when we have won, recently. So it's that style again of Muslich. Total shots, I think that was evident from Blackburn, having a lot of chances on goal. 7 from us. sounds like a stretch to me. With 3 on target equally sounds a bit of a stretch. So I think in terms of Blackburn, we got obviously a big win against them at home. So they've ensured that they've repaid the favour by beating us on their turf yesterday. So I think let's move on to Luton. So we were all discussing this. I'm just going to move our icons down to the bottom, or our profiles down to the bottom here. This is a massive game coming up, isn't it? And Andy, I think, it's a 6 point. It's the mother of all 6 pointers. The two bottom teams facing each other after we recently jumped Luton. This is like mega critical for us, I think, isn't it? And them.
I got away from home as well. We've only won once away from home against Brentford, to say that. But we've got to go there and try to force a win. There's no other option. Otherwise, we're going to be even further in the doo-doo. If you can't win games like this, I don't think Luton have scored in the last 6, have they?
No, well, you can see their last 5 games up there. So where they lost 1-0, lost 2-0, got a win, 1-1 draw against Wednesday.
1-1 draw,
lost.
So they're not scoring many goals.
No.
But the interesting thing for me, reading I was a bit of anarchy this morning and got away with the girls. A lot of the Sheffield United fans were really complimentary about the performance of Luton and said,
they played well.
Really, you didn't deserve that. You were great all game. You out-battled us. You out-fought us. I was just like, of all the times, please. But I think this season they've played really well in games and lost 1-0, haven't they? So here's another one.
That's the stats against
first
United.
Goal, it's got to be first goal to our goal, and I think their heads will drop, and that has to be because coming back when Luton, it's a small tight ground. Those who haven't been, it's disgusting. You have to go through Lord's washing line, don't you, to get to the away stand? But go 1-0 down there, we're going to be in real trouble.
Yeah, I think. Look at the possession. They had sort of equal split of possession. If I just go to the full stats, let's have a look at how many shots in their game that they had. 14 versus 12. So decent amount of shots and equally similar amounts of shots on target. So that's interesting. The lineup, sort of where are we to Luton on the left, isn't it? Yeah. So there's that. Yeah. Gavin, do you want to just touch up on this sort of middle 5? I know
this is where my arse is doing buttons, right? Because they play 3-5-2, they pack the midfield, and I think if we've got a leggy Randall and a JB or even a Houghton, and we're not on our game there, we're going to be outrunning midfield, right? We're going to be swamped, and we will lose the middle of the field. I know that when we play our system, the wing backs get really tight and we give the opposition the flanks basically to play with, and we can pack the middle. So I'm hoping that when the guys are on their game, we kind of out nullify that. But 3-5-2, I think, is probably, it feels to me, our nemesis lineup to play against, because we've got 2 dynamos in midfield that win the ball back and then make us go forward. If they've got 3 in the middle against our 2, Asagard, Nakumba and Walsh are, certainly Asagard, every time I've seen him play, is really lively. Nakumba's a bit of a Panichi Kamara from what I've seen in terms of wins the ball, gets it forward. I think we're going to be in a bit of trouble if we're not on our game in the midfield. So is it time for Boateng? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Speaking of which, Andy, was he on the bench yesterday and just not used?
Yeah, I don't know why
on the bench not used.
I don't know why he resisted playing him. He's got to give him some game time, surely, if he's bored him here. Whether he's not fit or not, I don't know. He should be. Why is he on the bench if he's not fit?
He came. Was it Millwall? He came on off the bench.
Yeah, he did.
Really lively.
I know that's what surprised me. I mean, Marcus, I think sort of the big thing is going to be again, isn't it? Is that first goal in this game? Argyle have always gone on to do well when scoring the first goal. In a game again like this, you look at Luton and you sort of say all that money, dropped out the Prem, and it's really been a downward spiral, even with the manager change and all that sort of stuff. And you think, do they feel like they're resigned to going down? I know it might sound odd to say, but a lot of those players will probably have release clauses if they fall out of the Championship. They probably want to escape, that situation. So there is an opportunity for Argyle here, but Marcus have really got to try and have their wits about them, like Gavin's saying.
Yeah, but Luton also can look at the same. There's also an opportunity for Luton to get right back into it. So it can work both ways. But it's a question of we need to freshen things up a bit. We got one or two leggy players, and then you need to bring in players like Boateng, give them a go. See who's going to replace Hardy. Either bring in Tegan Finn up there, or even Mumba up there. But definitely don't start with Beidou because there's no effort in it. You need someone who's going to run around.
Yeah.
So Marcus, do you sort of switch up the typical formation that he's generally gone with, and do you shore up with a bit more in midfield? Can you sort of? I think Houghton coming back in would make sense. Do you then have Randall, and do you? I mean, this tactics is not my thing, but would you then put Malachi Boateng in there as well?
Yeah, but you also look at with Hazard getting the ball and playing more direct. You can actually bypass the midfield.
Yeah.
So don't play through the midfield, so over the top, which they have been doing recently. You can try that, but you need players that are on the game up front. If you ain't got the players putting their effort up front, the whole system doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you noticed that the other day against Blackburn, when Hardy went off, Bailey wasn't doing it, and that was the problem.
Yeah, don't disagree. Just picking up in the comments, a certain William Larkin. Is that not someone you know then, Andy?
It is, yeah. I've just come out of full screen and gone onto the chat. William, I can't ring you at the minute, mate.
Doing a live.
I'm doing a live, but I can touch base with you later on, mate. Good to see you, mate. Thanks for dropping in.
Yeah, we'll pick this one back up in a second. Accidental Pilgrim, thanks for the comments, everybody. Just drop them in on whatever platform you're listening in on. I don't know really. I'm sort of it's an edgy one. This, I think, if we'd have managed to get a point going into it, against Blackburn, you'd think, it's a good one. After their comments that you were saying about how well they did against Sheffield United, or how Sheffield United fans felt they did. But we've been there in that situation.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, in it, where games happen like that.
Gavin,
what would you change? Go on.
Sorry, all the Sheffield United fans were saying that about us when we went up there, weren't they? Oh, you boys are never going to go down. That was hell of a game. We even had Cooper come across, shaking hands, manager coming across with him, Chris giving it the big one, blah, blah, blah. So, it was we did play well, but we lost 2-0. End of chat, really. And then the following week we were up again. So too many false dawns, weren't it, under Rooney? Let's be candid. I think consistency here is the key. Is Miron going to be? Is he going to be ballsy enough to go? Ramble's played every game this year. He needs a rest. So is Cardiff at home a bigger 3 points than Luton away? So, and if you've got a squad, you don't use him, right? You don't sign Boateng to be a side player. If you signed him, surely he signed him to be good enough to go and play 90 minutes and really get into people's faces at Luton on a cold, wet Wednesday night. No?
I've been tempted as well, Gav, to bring in Ogbeta and then
he's fresh.
Just give Soronola a rest, He's running this.
Mumba. I mean, we talked about him obviously coming on the other day against Millwall and almost possibly giving them that goal. But it's you got to wonder.
Mumba plays, he's got to play in the top 3. He can't play at the back, boys.
Yeah. No. Well, that's the point, isn't it? Do you bring him on in place of Hardy as an option?
Such as well. I thought when he came on at wing back was average. He made a couple of mistakes. He didn't have, but I don't think anyone had that nip in them. It felt like. The changing was flat, and even it sounds really daft, but like the ferocity of the brother handshakes that they do when they walk in the door, right? I don't know if you saw the TV clip pre-game. They all come in. It was like, oh yeah, and I just didn't feel the energy. Whereas if you look at the tunnel cam of Millwall and Liverpool, you go,
it's probably
these boys are up for this today. They're going. It's like, oh, how are you, bruv? How are you? And you're like, oh yeah, they're in for this. It all felt a bit limp.
Yeah.
It's like what they mentioned before, like they need a psychologist for playing away. It's like that. They're totally different. They're like the defeat before they start.
I know a good counsellor.
We need the swinging clock. That's what we need. Look into my eyes.
Yeah.
Follow the clock. We're winning away.
Well, if we look at, I've just put them up on the screen there. The sort of next fixtures coming. So obviously Wednesday night, and then Cardiff. 12:30 kickoff as well. I'm not at that game, so I need to stick my ticket on the ticket exchange because I'm up in London from Thursday for a long weekend. So so that is a big one. Cardiff getting didn't they get a late equaliser on the weekend?
Cardiff.
So
90 plus 4.
minute.
Yeah, 90 plus 4, Mike.
So that it's that sort of momentum. Will they carry some momentum? With that will be interesting. Obviously, then the whole is that the rearranged game? That's now
It's now on the 4th of March.
Yeah. So
3 days after Man City game.
Oh wow!
Because that's
I didn't. That's tough, isn't it? That is tough.
It's
and
tough
being
for
away.
fans. The players will stay up there, but it's tough on the fans who want to travel up to Man City, then go to watch.
If we take more than 500-600 to Hull on that Wednesday night, then we've got some people that need their mind reading. Going from Manchester for the weekend home, so Northwest, and no, thank you.
It'll be. I mean, I think the result of fans going away to that game, the net result of that will be of the Man City game, I think naturally. And, you just, look, we're going to want to go in there and make something of that tie because absolutely there's going to be players there that want to have that opportunity. And, stranger things have happened. I mean, we beat two teams already. Brentford were the best home record in Europe at the time until we turned up. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Liverpool, who are the best team probably in the world right now. And as Marcus said, there was a number of players that came on in their game earlier on today against Wolves that, were playing against us. Yeah, so whatever. Yeah, I remember you putting it in the chat. I didn't look, but yeah. So you sort of think there's some that we could easily give it a go there, but yeah, you don't want it to go into extra time or anything like that. It's certainly not one of those games that will it go into extra time or is it straight to penalties? That one? Anyone know?
No, it's they're all no. There's no replays anymore, is there?
No.
So it's extra time and then penalties, yeah?
There is VAR though, that's a good thing.
There is VAR,
yeah. So yeah, I'm just about to bring evening Andy Prowse's comment up. Bally up front drawing free kicks and not under defensive pressure. Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, could you utilize him in that role of Hardy? With right on the left. There's got to be something for Mumba there. I think it's just whether or not sort of he's not really getting into the squad because maybe Music does see him more on that side. But when you got Hardy doing so well there, and right on the opposite side, it's just not ideal for him. But to bring him in as defensive cover, as a substitute if you need to. But Barley's not. He just wants to get up there. That's where he creates a lot of, unfortunately, his mistakes because he wants to try and drive, doesn't he, right from the back. So I think after that Man City tie, then like you say, it's the rearranged whole game on the 4th, and then going straight in at home to Sheffield Wednesday. With another away game into Portsmouth, and now how massive would that one be as well? And then home again to Derby. So yeah, it's a bit of
at least that's
vicious.
3 o'clock at home.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's so many points here. So going on to that one, sort of it was discussed in the WhatsApp group. Where do we think those points need to be? And Gavin, I think around 47 is it? We were sort of suggesting.
Well, 47. My predictor point. I think we're going to get 11 points from home, and brace yourselves. I think we're going to get 11 points away. Andy, I know. Andy was like, "Hi, Steve." Andy in the text was like, "Yeah, what drugs are you taking, Gavin? Give me some."
But I want to see points of what you're on, mate.
Genuinely, I think we've got 7 away, 7 home. I think we'll win 3 at home, draw 2, lose 2. I think we'll win 3 away, starting with Luton on Wednesday night. I think we'll win 3 away, draw 2 away, and lose 2 away. Is my guess. 50 points that would make us finish on for those who aren't Carol Vorderman in the room or watching. And that will give us, I reckon, 4 points safety net. There you go. You heard it here first. I'm miles wrong, but I'm going to say I'm right. So there we go.
Well, I can't say I'm going to put an accumulator or whatever it is on that. Because I did lose my bet again yesterday on an outright win and a 2-1. So I'm being careful of not chipping away at my winnings. Do gamble responsibly, of course, if you do. Steve's joined us tonight.
Welcome, Steve.
So I'm guessing not long just finished work. So, well, we're finished now. So we'll catch you all later on in the week. And
so, you say it every week, and it's not funny then either. So.
Hey, look, I try. Right, let me just eject Gavin from the lobby. So Steve, how are you feeling? And what was your sort of thoughts on yesterday? And we just got onto the points conversation, and you like your stats and looking at your analytics.
I think personally, we've just played 3 games in 6 days, haven't we?
Yeah, it's a lot of games.
Sunday, Wednesday, and Saturday. I think they just ran out of steam.
Yeah.
Leggy, yeah.
And the thing is, with Luton, going back to Wednesday, I think we need to match their formation on Wednesday and play the 3-5-2.
Have you been watching? While you were driving them from work, that's exactly what we were talking about.
He was listening in the background.
Great minds think
alike. Either because what I put in the chat earlier, wasn't it? Put Tegan Finn up there, or we're going to have to go for Upper Femi, aren't we?
I think this, and also I think let me just show it up again from Accidental Pilgrim. The point on Rami Al Haj, should be probably in a higher pecking order than Beidou, and actually,
I agree.
That's a really good point. I think if you look at the sort of balls at the likes of Hardy being out on the right, obviously a bit more in this setup, and right on the left. Left, right, left, right, left. I think if Tegan Finn comes in on that right-hand side, the type of balls that Wright has got down that left and crossed in, Tegan Finn is a bit like that style of Whitaker as well, and he can come in onto his left and has got a cracking shot. So I think regardless of him being 16, nearly 17, whatever he is now, there is an opportunity there, Steve, isn't there?
Definitely. Here's another option. Put Callum Wright on the right-hand side and put Barley Mumba on the left.
Yeah, well, we were just coming on that point again. Andy Prowse just mentioned that one on, Barley up front during, free kicks and not under the defensive pressure. There's options, isn't there? So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Muslich decides to do against a team of ex-Premier League players. That will not be an easy ride still, regardless of where they are.
Has Tegan Finn been on the bench yet since Muron took over?
No.
Exactly.
He's been scoring goals for fun in the 18s.
Yeah.
The academy.
Yeah. But it could be, I think there's an element, Marcus, there of Muslich wanting to stabilise with experienced players and, and obviously Hardy turning a bit of form, Bundu working in that role up front. There's a lot of good things that have actually meant that, the likes of Finn Roberts, as we said, and Izaka, who haven't quite made the bench, under Muslich because, those players are suddenly started to work under the system that he wants to deploy. But, as we know, when we get hit with injuries, it does cause us problems because of that lack of, depth in all positions. And so, I wouldn't be surprised if we see something interesting against Luton.
What are our options on the right-hand side then?
Well, it's either keep Bundu up top, Obafemi, but Obafemi's played on the left before. Personally, I think it would be move Callum Wright to the right, so he's right-footed, which means he can get a cross in, and then you've got a different option on the left-hand side. But for me, it would be Obafemi if he's fit and mentally right, because he's got that pedigree, he's got that class. Or you play, my absolute wild card selection would be Bundu in the 9 and then Mumba and Obafemi in the 10 channels. All really direct players, very strong, move the ball quickly and get down the channels. Because if you look at that, Mumba can run channels like Hardy. He's quick enough. Obafemi can run channels like Hardy. He's not quicker than Hardy. Hardy's got longer legs, but on a short burst, he can go, and Bundu holds the ball up really well and can flick it on. It does mean we're completely ignoring what was our record signing, Beidou, at 1.5 million, and Al Had, who came in at 900 grand.
Yeah,
we're saying that you've both been signed as 10s, and we're playing a 9 and a right wing back in your position because we don't trust you. I don't know what that says about team morale or their confidence or whatever, but at the moment, I don't give a monkey's about that. It's about points, boys.
Yeah,
I agree.
Is this a sort of game for like Roberts? Caleb Roberts. Why not? He's a youngster. He's chomping at the bit to get in there and play. Why not try him?
But in midfield, so
just bung him in there. You've got to give the boys something.
I agree. Plus, you're playing against 5 quality midfielders there.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
I mean, no manager actually trust Roberts, though, have they?
What's that?
No manager we've had has actually trust Roberts. He plays the odd cup game, but he plays well. The next game, he's dropped.
He's not even in the squad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tricky. I mean, when he has come in, he's done. I think he's done all right. So it's I don't know. He's going to want to go for experience, which is why I think we'll see an interesting midfield lineup. I'd like to see Houghton back in there. They're going to need to get in and be aggressive. I don't think JB's the aggressive nature in that midfield, whereas Houghton and certainly in the Millwall game and Randall and that were really sort of getting in at the players and snapping at their heels and getting some hard tackles in, and that's what's going to happen to need to happen, but without getting caught out for pace and being split open, which is as we said early on, Blackburn did to great effect.
Randall doesn't play as well when he's not with Houghton.
Yeah, well, we were saying that earlier, weren't we? Yeah,
Houghton stabilises the ship.
He has been watching.
He has been watching. Yeah.
I haven't even been on, honestly.
Well, it's natural for him to regurgitate, considering that we all talk the same stuff in the WhatsApp group.
I know, exactly.
Yeah, I know.
I think Randall and Houghton are the two best midfielders we have. They've been playing with each other now for donkey's years since Randall's come up from the academy. They understand each other. They've got great, but it's just about freshness. And my worry is Randall's blowing out his backside. And,
wasn't Boateng brought in for his aggression? So why not play him?
Well, yeah.
Why not?
We said that, Well, I tell you what's worrying, chaps, right, is we've had one loss and we've all lost our fucking, excuse my hand, French heads. We have absolutely, it's like Wurzel Gummidge sat here, round and round and round, all the fan base. The tweet afterwards, I read about 20 tweets before I put my message out. God, it was JB ain't good enough. Randall's shouldn't be wearing the shirt. If he won from Plymouth, he'd never get in this side. Paulson's rubbish, his best player on the pitch. It went on and on and on. You're like, we've lost one game against a team that's transitioned the ball quicker than anyone I've seen this year. Amen. Right? Full stop. And all of a sudden, the doomsdayers are absolutely going nuts, saying, well, that's the end. We're done.
Ryan Hardy was the key to our transition.
Yeah, 100%. We said that at the very beginning. Yeah, 100%.
I think if I don't stand mistaken, I was telling you all to calm down from the sort of doom and gloom. To be fair, I had such a busy weekend with a busy days at work at the moment as well. Doesn't help. But I sort of came away from the game, carried on doing what I was doing. I hardly went on. I went on X, but I didn't really look up the hashtag or look at the For You to see what everybody was saying, because as Gavin summarised there, you can get a lot of reactiveness going on, and we're not going to go on and win every single game, and as Graham Bryn or Byrne is said there, Blackburn had quality, and they came off the back of beating West Brom, away after having lost Eustace to Derby. So it's like we thought there might be a bit of a stutter there, but clearly there wasn't, because they've got that belief in that squad. And part of you says we want to prove we can do better without him anyway, or carry on doing well.
It'd be interesting to find out if Katie's still watching. I don't know if she is, right? But if she is, how good a performance was that for Blackburn on Saturday compared to the last 2 or 3? Because I watched them against Preston. I know that was a derby, but they were awful, right? They won the game 2-1, but it was very start-stop, and I thought they were They were pretty awful for about 25, 30 minutes that game, and they got away with it. But they were much, much better on Saturday. Whether we were worse than Preston or whether they were just up the game, I'm not sure. But it felt like that was the best they played for some time. So, Kate, if you're still here in the messages, please, that'd be lovely.
Yeah, just gonna just bringing up Mark's comment again. We were sort of saying about seeing in our WhatsApp about would we see any sort of difference from the set piece coach. He's not really had a full proper week because obviously there's rest days in between these games. But sort of, did anybody see anything of note yesterday? No,
not really. No, but it's too soon to see anything really.
Yeah, no, exactly. There wasn't an awful lot, was there? So
your two major aerial threats going forward and going back, I thought were both knackered in Maxi and Katic. So you can be the best set piece coach in the world. Pusac had a really quiet game. The accuracy of it and the whip of his crosses weren't there. Maxi and Katic weren't at the races, in my opinion, and snapping at their heels. They lost their intensity a bit, understandably. I didn't realise it was 3 games in 6 days, actually, Steve. So I thought it was over a week. So
it's crazy.
It's
but before they came to us, when was the last time they played?
Who was that? Sorry, at the start. What did you say at the start,
Blackburn.
Marcus?
Katic and Maxi, the previous clubs.
I don't know.
I don't think they were regulars, were they?
They didn't get many minutes, mate. Same with Pusac. I mean, Pusac played 7 games in 2.5 weeks. Before that, I think he had about 200 minutes for his entire season.
Exactly. So it is gonna make him knackered.
It's a good point, actually, and also accidental pilgrims. When's Plaguey back? I don't know if there's
7 to 10 days or something, wasn't it?
Was that what it was?
It'll be Cardiff. Okay. Cardiff is the next event.
Right. Okay. Which
he
could be.
in Diamond. It'll be Cardiff.
Yeah, that could be crucial. Again, I think it's a great point, Marcus, actually, because we've never picked up on what they were doing prior to joining. They just landed, obviously, on that Friday, and went straight in, and we're all drooling, and have not been able to stop drooling since they joined. So yeah, it's an interesting one, and I think that's something to definitely be observant about. The fact that the minutes we're playing, like Steve just noted, the 3 games in 6 days. And there's a lot to come, especially with that whole game being moved as well. I think Andy, you said the players will likely stay up there potentially. I mean, there's a cost if they won't keep the first team's coaching staff obviously up there because they can just travel easy enough. But yeah, they'll
be on the same plane, like I imagine. They'll fly up, stay somewhere central, fly back after Hull.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I just wonder whether we're up there, they can stay really.
Well,
it's a massive cost for a few days.
Yeah,
well, there is. But who was it? What academy did we use to train? Oh, it was Newcastle, wasn't it? When we were away to. How far is that from Hull? It's West Coast, but it's still a fair track, isn't it?
It's not that far. It's not as far as Plymouth, put it that way.
Well, no, it's not. They'll train, won't they? They'll beg, borrow, and steal a training ground and an academy somewhere with a classroom and stuff, and they'll just stay in the area, I think.
I mean, the other option would be to fly to both games, but that's gonna cost.
Well, if you're chartering your own plane, that's probably more expensive up and back than it is to stay in a hotel.
Yeah,
and go
stay in a hotel for a couple of days and train locally.
Yeah. Just a comment from Jake Hillman, evening Jake. Yeah, saying what we sort of were saying earlier. Houghton, Boateng in the middle to start. I think strong midfield, and certainly we're not really sure why Boateng didn't get any minutes against Blackburn yesterday either. There's one thing, gents, and everybody listening in, Argyle fans, to sort of consider. Right, it's not as bad as this. This is proper bad. When you lose to Tottenham and you're already not playing great, Man United, that is terrible. I've only just noticed that. I forgot it was a 4:30 kickoff. But to lose after they went, Maddison scored on 13 minutes. To lose to Tottenham, it's really going Pete Tong. So that's proper bad. So there we go. For a lot of anti-United fans out there, I know will be enjoying that one. Yeah. So that's shocking, isn't it? So.
Yeah, but you could also look at the other thing. Losing to Man United, that's bad, isn't it?
I'm beginning to wonder why we didn't get Man United in the cup instead of Man City. Can we just not change the mover and play Man United instead?
That's a banker, isn't it?
Who is it that's got them in the next round? FA Cup.
Fulham. something like that.
No,
Okay,
it's a Paul
Yeah.
Prep,
Yeah.
isn't it?
so we're on the wrong side of Manchester then, potentially, but you never know. We might still surprise.
I don't know when
So-
that game is either. It won't be on the Saturday because they won't have them both on the same day. So
No, they won't.
probably
No,
Sunday.
I think they'll be on Sunday or the Monday, probably, won't it?
No, I'm just going to go back to this comment from Accidental Pilgrim. Just a random question as he pit for later, which is where I've saved it for. Where do you guys like to sit at home park? Do you always sit in the same place? I'm not a season ticket holder, but I am premium evergreen. I've always floated between the Lindis and the Mayflower. So I'll go first. Obviously, the name of the podcast is born out from myself and Andy, who sit in the block 9, row X, 2 from the back. And I've sat there for quite a while, probably too long I can remember. So that's where Andy and I sit. Marcus, when you get to the games, where do you sit?
I'm one of the posh buggers. I sit in the Mayflower.
Yeah, is that you're a season ticket holder there, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's it.
only moan in
Gavin, who's the prawn sandwich posh side of things.
Yeah, I have a season ticket in Diamond. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and his seat's up by.
And my seat is row F, seat 4, so it's in the old director's box.
Yeah, which is actually speaking of which, when Gavin's invited me, it's a great view up there. I have to say, it's good to see it from up high and be that close to the dugout. Steve, where is it you sit?
Block 9, row Q.
That's it, and that's your
Good
season
man.
ticket.
That's near us, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has enough of having to listen to us on here on WhatsApp. He can't be bothered to come up and say hello. So I think I haven't for years. I think I was sat in the row or in the block over for a lengthy period of time when we were in the championship, and then I ended up just stopping my season ticket for a year because of money. But then came back and had to move a bit more into the corner by another block over. Is that 8? And I hated that, to be honest. And also because it wasn't, when you get a group of you and you'll talk and sort of at halftime, etc., before kickoff, there was none of that. And then I eventually got back into block 9. And there's a good bunch of us all share and discuss before the game. So it's really good fun. So yes, I think if you're an evergreen, you can float around in seats, and I think it's great to do that. And as I said, I'll try and get it sorted later, but my ticket for Cardiff will be up for sale on the ticket exchange because I am not able to make it because I'm in London for a weekend. So, I shall...
Oh, peace and quiet for a weekend.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The whole of block 9 have just gone...
Jabber. He jabbers like anything. He's got more rabbits than Sainsbury's.
Sadly, though, for everybody, we're driving back on Sunday. So, yes, I will be here for the podcast in the evening. So, I will absolutely end up missing one at some stage, and then Andy can take over the hosted duties. But, yeah, I don't think I've missed one yet, which we're in our this is our 34th show, so it's pretty
Started
mad.
on TikTok back on a rainy night in 1942.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, and we do want to mix things up. We do want to bring on some other guests and stuff. And if you're interested in joining us, to come on and give your thoughts, you don't have to stay the whole show. We had Nick on from PAFC Displays the other day, who came in to sort of shout about the situation against the Liverpool game and getting ready for that, etc. And he stayed on for the whole show. So you're more than welcome to drop by to give your view and disappear again, or sit with us throughout the whole show.
And we're looking for a female as well, Mike. Come on, we're looking for a female as well. Because
I thought we found
looking at your mugs every week. It's like, come on.
We found a female, not literally.
No, yes.
Female,
So I have. So I did pick up that conversation actually with her dad again on Blue Sky. Friday, and he said they're away this weekend, so he is going to give her a nudge. But it would be good, to not have all of us old men boring farts sat here talking. So
we've got regulars coming in. People like Macy coming in. She's a regular. Let's get Macy up here. Like the old days.
It needs to be her podcast too, doesn't it?
God's sake.
See what I did there?
No. That was what was good.
That was very Sid James.
That's what was good about TikTok. To be fair, you can just bring people in all the time, and it's good. It's a good engagement. This makes it a bit harder, but I can share the link. So if anybody at any time wanted to put in the comments to come in, then the best way actually is to direct message me on X, and I'll send the link to get in. But yeah, so Accidental Pilgrim, cheers guys. I'm just behind the dugouts for the Cardiff game, so that's a first for me. So yeah, that's an interest. I've never sat directly behind the dugouts.
The directors, the actual director's box. I think there's like 5-6 rows back, and then that whole square is. And when you sponsor games, you have to sit there. You haven't got a choice. It's a really good view, but what you can see is what used to be do step down the steps, lean over, whisper to someone on the dugout, back up the steps, sit down. Certainly in the Schumacher and low years, they were up, down, and the analyst is sat there propped, with his laptop on his knees, monitoring all the output of the players and saying, Hardy's knackered, get him off. His output's disappeared off a cliff. It was really interesting to see, actually. So you'll have some good seats there.
Yeah, no, well, enjoy that, Accidental Pilgrim. So, I'm going to now take my daughter up to bed. It's half term, isn't it, next week? I'm working for the first 3 days, so the wife's going to have that fun and games with the kids, with them being off and trying to also work. So that should be interesting. But yeah, look, so Andy, Marcus, Gavin, Steve, thanks for tonight. Hopefully we'll have a bit more of a positive one after Luton, and also fans forum on Thursday, isn't it? So if you have booked tickets, is any of you going to that?
I'm going
isn't he?
Yeah,
Carl's going.
I'm going. Yeah, we can do a live from there if you like.
Yeah, just stream it on your phone. You can run this in the browser as well. But
you need to buy a hat, Andy, beforehand. Bought this.
It's a Rooney hat. I've got a hat.
£1.50 I got charged for the.
Yeah. It's a nice hat.
It's a lovely hat.
I've got a Christmas hat. I've got a Christmas Argo hat.
Yeah,
wrong time of year.
I wouldn't wear that on Thursday. I mean,
I know.
Talking of which,
for a refund
to merchandise, young man.
Yeah, just both myself and the wife are so busy. Yeah, so it is coming along. I've also had a chat with someone about getting some designs as well done to celebrate situations like Liverpool and stuff like that. So we will aim to get, probably it's going to be another couple of weeks, I think, because we're away again, or like I said, in London. So I might get the chance to play with some design making, but only once the kids are in bed. So, but yes, I will get something done. I don't even have my Block 9 top on tonight.
No.
I quite like a sort of white T-shirt. You know, the old logo we had, right, with the big microphone with the sort of the podcast waves going through it. That I think that could look quite nice on this T-shirt.
Well, I got a few ideas, and I'll get to them, maybe next year, and then I'll share them all with you. No, we'll have some stuff up.
It'll be at the annual conference, annual Block 9 conference. Hyde Park Social Club over about 17 pints.
Yeah, well, Marcus might get there one day. Marcus might find directions and get to the Hyde Park Social Club one day.
Do they have a function room? Don't they? I've been a few times.
Season conference at the Hyde Park Social Club to work out how we're going to improve things for next year. That's a definite.
Sack Mike.
Yeah. So Andy won't be joining us for the next neither will Gavin from his earlier comment. So
we'll still together, don't worry.
That's all right, yeah. We'll go the Block 9.5 podcast, don't worry, rivals.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Hang on a minute, let me read this before I pin it up. Oh, there we go. I'm just checking this was clean from Accidental Pilgrim. Don't pick the woman who I sat next to for the Liverpool game to be on the pod. Her language would have rivaled a dockyard wag. I don't know. I think Gavin can do a good enough job for that one.
Yeah.
I'm a Yordi.
Say again?
I'm a Yordi.
Yeah, there you go. You see. But you've been fairly clean, Steve. So maybe you're a rare breed. Oh, and there we go. Graham Brent. Yeah, Argyle Life are on at 8. So we're going to shoot off now. That's it for us tonight. And then, look, we'll catch you all next Sunday. I don't think we'll be live before then, but enjoy the rest of your week. And let's see what we can do on Wednesday. Massive 6-pointer. Other than that, folks, catch you all later.